What's going on, everyone? Happy Tuesday to everyone. Hopefully, everyone is doing well and having a great day so far. Welcome to the Tuesday weather update for Tuesday, June 18th, 2024. If you're new to my channel, this is where we do the daily weather update for the United States, and sometimes we talk about weather events that are happening around the world. Today, we're going to talk about the heat in the east, the tropical system down the south. You may notice here, first tropical storm warnings of the year, and you do see some green on here where there are threats of flooding for today, and we also have to talk about the West Coast as well. So if you're new, hit that subscribe button down below, give this a thumbs up, hit the notification bell so you're notified when I do my updates, and of course share this with anyone you know and leave a comment down below. Alright, starting off with the National Hazards Map, you can see here the heat advisories are up for portions of the Northeast, and in portions of Ohio, Indiana, and Michigan, we do have excessive heat warnings that are now up as well. And you can see here, today is going to be a very hot day in the Northeast, and that's going to continue day after day as this heat dome, as everyone's calling it, is setting up. Underneath that heat dome, which is a ridge, underneath the ridge, we do have a tropical threat that is now taking place in the Gulf of Mexico, and that could become a tropical storm. Taking a look at radar here, we can see here from that there is moisture that is coming up out of the Gulf of Mexico. Portions of Louisiana is getting that today, and eventually this is going to push more westward. Texas, you're going to see very heavy rainfall. We do have some showers that are continuing across the Great Lakes, and there are some showers and thunderstorms in the upper Midwest. And take a look at this in Montana. Yes, you do have showers as well, even some rain. And back across western Montana and Idaho, some snow did fall. I know, crazy to say that in June, but we were showing you that there was winter weather advisories up for portions of those areas. All right, let's get right over to the Hurricane Center here. You can see potential tropical cyclone 1 did form yesterday evening. It was a disturbance. It still is. This is something new they started doing just a couple years ago, and this could become a tropical storm. Currently, it is at 40-mile-per-hour sustained winds. The minimum pressure is 999 millibars, and it is moving north at 7 miles per hour. You can also see there is still a disturbance in the Atlantic. When we change this to the day 7 outlook for the next 7 days, you can see that disturbance in the Atlantic, it's still there. Only 20% chance of development. It's not going to be much of anything. But look at this. This is something you don't see too often. There's our potential tropical cyclone 1. That's going to go west into portions of Mexico and provide really heavy rains and some rough surf for the portions of Texas coast. But look, there will be another disturbance that we'll have to watch down the line that could form in the southern Gulf. Now going back here, taking a look at that track, you can see here for potential tropical cyclone 1, it is expected to become a tropical storm and should make landfall sometime between Wednesday evening and very early Thursday morning. It's looking like maybe it has moved up in time a little bit to a little bit faster now. So it could make a landfall as early as Wednesday evening in Mexico. All right, moving on now to this from the Hurricane Center. They did say potential tropical cyclone 1 is a very large disturbance with heavy rainfall, coastal flooding, and wind impacts likely to occur from the center along the coast of Texas and northeastern Mexico. So again, don't pay too much attention to the fact that, oh, it's a tropical storm. Oh, it's going to be. Yes, there will be some wind. Yes, there will be some coastal flooding. The biggest impact will likely be the heavy rainfall. And then second would be the coastal flooding, and third would be the wind. Again, this is a rather large system, and we'll show you more of the flooding impacts just a moment from that. Taking a look at yesterday's severe weather, there was a little bit of an overperformer that occurred across the Ohio Valley, western Pennsylvania, and even portions of western New York. You can see here, there's quite a few severe storm reports. That was only a marginal area. There was never a watch issued. Probably should have been a slight risk, and there probably should have been a severe thunderstorm watch. You can also see here in the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, and the Northern Plains, there were some severe storms to be had as well. Here's the totals for yesterday. 218 wind reports, 2 being high wind reports, 15 hail reports, no large ones yesterday, and no tornadoes yesterday either. 233 reports total. So yes, that was definitely a busy day, and already there have been 2 reports today of wind up in Minnesota. Today's threats are as follows, and let's just click right on that. You can see here there's a marginal risk from Texas all the way up to the Canadian border. In that, there is a slight risk, and once again, marginal risk across portions of the Northeast. And today, I actually agree with that being marginal. It doesn't look terribly impressive, but we'll have to see how much activity actually gets going. Tornado threat for today, it's minimal. It's basically from portions of Texas on up through to the western Great Lakes, right on through Canada there. You can see here there will be an isolated tornado or two, but it is not the biggest threat. The biggest threat is probably wind, and the epicenter for that could end up being over portions of Kansas. You can see there's a hatched area there, and they also have a hatched area there for hail as well. So we'll have to watch this. Basically, what you have happening is you have this moisture from the Gulf that is, working up against a boundary. Then you have a little bit of cool air behind us. The two battling it out together is going to generate some thunderstorms today, which is why there could be an isolated tornado with this event. Let's take a look at day 2. Not really much going on tomorrow, just a marginal risk across western Oklahoma, northern Texas, and also a marginal risk near Chicago tomorrow. And on day 3, a marginal risk of severe storms in the Northeast. Taking a look at the HRRR model for today, and you can see here, you had that spin in the Gulf of Mexico. That's our potential tropical cyclone. Showers and thunderstorms will start to move into Texas this evening. They will come more numerous overnight, but you can see that flow, that southeast to northwest flow, which is bringing in that moisture. It's working up against this boundary, and you can see thunderstorms do get going from Texas all the way up into western Lake Superior and right on up into portions of Canada. So there will be numerous showers and thunderstorms. I suspect there'll probably be a lot of wind reports this afternoon with this. And you can see here, there is even some training that goes on with this as well, which is why there could be a flood threat today across portions of Kansas, and really anywhere where this evolves today. There could be a flood threat as we advance this into tonight, into tomorrow afternoon. You can see very heavy rainfall for southern Texas. Several inches of rainfall. How much rainfall is being shown on the HRRR model? Check this out. Yes, widespread 3 to 6 inches of rain, and you can even see localized areas where it gets 6 to 10 inches of rain in these oranges. That's a lot of rainfall. But look across Kansas. Very heavy rainfall for you from these training thunderstorms. And then up in northern Minnesota, we have to keep an eye on that as well. That is some very heavy rainfall for you today as well. Now moving on to the Weather Prediction Center, you can see here, there is this slight risk of excessive rainfall across portions of Kansas right on up through to Iowa, including Minnesota and Wisconsin, and then down Texas. It's a moderate risk today. You saw very heavy rainfall expected there. Marginal risk in western Pennsylvania today, and another moderate risk again tomorrow across portions of Texas where very heavy rainfall will occur, and just a slight risk for portions of Kansas and Oklahoma, then a large marginal risk of excessive rainfall with some isolated instances of flash flooding straight on through the Great Lakes into western New York and western Pennsylvania. Days 1 through 7 precipitation. Okay, you're going to see many different things here. First off, you notice there's very heavy rainfall down in Texas. Too much rainfall at one time, and you can see here isolated 5 to 7 inch amounts, with the HRRR even showing localized 10 inch amounts. Then you see a widespread swath from Kansas all the way up into the upper Midwest, where it'll be a general 1 to 2 inches of rainfall, with locally in between in these red areas 2 to 4 inches of rainfall. That's a lot of rainfall in a short period of time. Again, flash flooding is possible. This is over the course of the next 7 days. And take a look at the Northeast. You can see precipitation is starting to show up for the Northeast. There will be a front either at the end of the weekend or early next week that will provide some showers and thunderstorms. And of course, you do have that risk today, and then that risk again on Thursday for some showers and thunderstorms. Something else that really sticks out, yeah, take a look at California, Nevada, and even portions of Oregon. Very dry. Hardly even a single drop of rainfall will be expected for you. Taking a look at the Weather Prediction Center now. This is the heat. Yes, we have to talk about that. The extreme heat. It will stretch from portions of the Midwest right on into the Northeast, and they have Category 4 magenta in a lot of areas where it is going to be just very hot. And if you're in these areas, heat indexes could reach 100 to 105 degrees. Please take it easy if you live in these areas. Taking a look at the GFS here. Let's take a look at the more extended range, shall we? We can see there's that system that does provide a heavy rainfall for Texas. And then you can see here, Thursday is actually a little bit of a quieter day across the United States. There may be some activity that goes on up here across portions of South Dakota, Nebraska, and portions of Iowa, and maybe even Minnesota as well. We'll have to keep an eye on that. And then as we head into Thursday night, you can see here, another round of heavy rain may get going up there. And as I advance this, you can see this area of low pressure gets going north of the Great Lakes. There will be a cold front with that. So we'll have to watch Sunday into Monday for showers and thunderstorms as that comes through. Some of that could linger into Monday as well, and that is going to push some of the heat southward. But this ridge down into the south and to the west, it will actually push back west, and it will start to build again. Under that ridge, we have to keep an eye what happens in the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of Mexico will continue to be open for business, and anytime you have a ridge going, you could get disturbances that form in the Gulf of Mexico. And you can see here, the GFS, it tries to show another disturbance going later on next week. It also tries to show a slow-moving frontal boundary that really doesn't move that fast in the northeast. So prior to that, let's back up for a second here. You can see here, Wednesday of next week, Tuesday into Wednesday, there is definitely a severe weather threat from portions of the plains through to the Great Lakes. Then that will transition to the east a little bit as we head into Wednesday night into next Thursday. And that front, it doesn't really move all that fast. Again, likely to change on GFS, but we'll have to watch. It could be slow moving, so there could be a heavy rainfall threat along that. And if we do get any tropical disturbances, like right here on the GFS, likely to change next run, but if we do get a tropical disturbance going in the Gulf, well, that could get tangled up with the front, and who knows what could happen with that pretty far down the line. Let's take a look at the European now as well. And you can see the European relatively not too active over the next several days in the east. You do get that thunderstorm threat that sets up here on Thursday. You can see here there are showers and thunderstorms from Maine back through New Hampshire, Vermont, and New York. And then as we head into the weekend, you can see here continued shower and thunderstorm threats up across portions of the Great Lakes, and that's where that area of low pressure is going to start to form. Generally from Lake Superior back across Minnesota and the Dakotas, and we'll have to keep an eye on that. Not as much moisture on the European as you just saw on the GFS with this front. You can see here, it really doesn't do much at all. It provides some showers and thunderstorms, generally north of Philadelphia, North Jersey, on up to New England. So we'll have to keep an eye. There's some mild discrepancies, but I still think, given how much heat and humidity there is, if that trough can dig a little more, there will definitely be some showers and thunderstorms with that. And then moving on to the longer range, you can see, here's that front for mid next week. That does become slow moving. We'll have to keep an eye on that. If there's some sort of blocking in the Atlantic, it's not going to clear all that fast, and it could get tangled up somewhere along the coast. And if something gets going in the Gulf of Mexico, it's something we will have to watch. Pretty far down the line, we have a lot of stuff in the closer range to keep an eye on. I just want to end today on this 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. It's going to continue to be very hot in the east. It may even last through the rest of June, especially if you're from about Pennsylvania on southward, west coast, very hot. Slightly below normal for you in the Pacific Northwest, and slightly above average precipitation in the Pacific Northwest as well. Below average in between, slightly above average in the east and down into the south. 8 to 14 day, slightly below average temperatures in the Pacific Northwest. well above average across much of the country. And you can see here, while it is showing near normal precipitation across the Northeast, it's above average in the South. I'm not 100% certain I agree with that, and we'll revisit this again tomorrow. There could very well be that front that possibly gets hung up, and if it does, showers and thunderstorms would continue, and this would probably be slightly above average precipitation late next week. In the West, below average precipitation. So you're not going to see much precipitation in California. Your wildfire risk is going to continue. So that is not good whatsoever. All right, you can follow me on X at Climate Data Report for more. And of course, we'll have another update again tomorrow. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe down below. Share these videos with anyone you know. Hit that notification bell and leave your comments down below. Let me know, what's the weather doing in your area? I will see you all again tomorrow. Until then, have a fantastic Tuesday afternoon. Thanks for watching.